Detective Tom Hardy
You're famous, man.
Infamous.
is on the trail of a killer.
I'm trying to solve a murder here!
Someone who knows his past.
He wants me to find these girls.
Someone who knows his beat.
Hurry, behind you!
Someone who's always waiting within striking distance.
And stop now!
Bruce Willis. Striking Distance.
If I had to choose a Bruce Willis movie that I think is very underrated, and it's actually a personal favorite of mine, it would have to be Striking Distance. This movie has so much action, so many thrills, and a very good twist that I did not see coming. Really, I watched this movie a couple of nights ago. I hadn't seen it in a while, and I had forgotten about the twist, and I still didn't see it coming. This movie was released in 1993, and it was directed by Rowdy Harrington, who directed movies like Repo Man, and of course, the famous Roadhouse. And I think it's just as good as Roadhouse. Very well directed, and very well acted by Bruce Willis and Sarah Jessica Parker. The movie, I don't know why, it doesn't get mentioned as much as Die Hard or Fifth Element or Armageddon. It's a very good movie, very entertaining. The story is, Bruce Willis plays a cop named Tom Hardy, and there's these murders going around, and don't worry, I'm not going to ruin the movie, because it's very good. And there's this guy, you don't know who it is, who's dumping bodies into a river. Bruce Willis has the inclination, he thinks it might be a cop who's doing these murders, just a way of the patterns that he's noticing. Thing is, he can't say this. He can't go to court and testify and say that he thinks there's a cop doing these murders, because he comes from a family of cops. But he decides to go with his gut and say that there's a police officer doing it, and he gets demoted to River Patrol. So the movie takes place for the most part in the water, in a boat, with Sarah Jessica Parker as his partner, and the murders still keep happening, and he has to find out who it is. Like I said, it's very entertaining. It's a shame that movies like this don't get made much anymore. You know, just the fact that it's shot on film, you can see so many details that you don't see with, movies that are shot on digital. And the chemistry between Bruce Willis and Sarah Jessica Parker is solid. Like, by this relationship, chemistry is so real. And I also like the scenes between Bruce Willis and his uncle, played by Dennis Farina. There's a scene where they're talking about family and the things that are going on, and there's a particular thing that happens. It's not necessarily a twist, but something that's going to reveal something that happens to Bruce Willis' character. And that scene felt real. It didn't feel like acting to me. So if you are looking for a Bruce Willis movie that you may or may not have seen, if you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend it. I'm not sure if it's in any streaming platform, but you can find this DVD on Amazon.com. Other things that I would say about the movie that you don't see nowadays is chase sequences with no CGI. There's a particular sequence, there's two sequences that stand out. There's one sequence where Bruce Willis is on a boat and he's shooting at a car who has the main bad guy is being chased by Bruce Willis, and he's shooting, and a particular explosion happens, and it's so well done, it's real, no CG. By the 90s, CGI was starting to kind of kick off, and this movie this actually came around the same time as Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park was really good CGI. This was all done for real. And there's also a chase sequence earlier in the movie where these cars are just jumping across, and it's so entertaining. You don't see that nowadays. So it makes me miss the movies of yesteryear. I can only say one negative about the movie. There's one particular actor in this movie who I think could have done a little bit better, and that's Tom Sizemore. He's okay in the movie. He plays a relative of Bruce Willis. He's just okay, but everyone else does a really good job. Dennis Farina, Sarah Jessica Parker, Bruce Willis, of course. I can't say any other negatives about this movie. I actually feel like watching it again now. Stay tuned. There's going to be more Bruce Willis reviews. I'm going to be reviewing The Siege, Tears from the Sun, and also a movie that he did called Catch 44. And there's a couple of other ones. I do also want to rank the Die Hard movies. I have to revisit those. I always watch the first three, but I haven't seen the last two in a little while, so I have to revisit Live Free or Die Hard, and also A Good Day to Die Hard, which is not the best one. I like it, but it's not the best one. I do realize that. So, again, if you're looking for a good action movie, from the 90s, Striking Distance is definitely the one. So, guys, thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed this review, and stay safe, and happy Easter. Bye.